All right, everybody, welcome back to the Fast and Slow podcast. This is episode 11. With me, as always, is Nate, and I'm Nick. Today, we're going to talk about, I think, a pretty fun episode going into kind of the state of American road racing, and not necessarily road racing in America, but racing American-made vehicles, and kind of what are we looking at? Are we in the golden age? Are we in maybe? Are we too far into it from a NASCAR perspective? Do we need to go back to oval? I think we'll kind of jump all over the place, but that's kind of going to be the general theme today. So Nate, what's been going on with you in the garage, man?
Made getting back from vacation, so I made a little bit of progress on the pedal car. Still continuing with the effort to get all the mechanicals done. So really would like before I go through the trouble of cutting all the sheet metal that I worked so hard to rough out, I want to make sure I know where all the linkages and everything are going.
Tell me about the steering. So does it work flawlessly, or do you have any binding? It's kind of what you wanted?
No, it worked. It worked good. I made a couple small mistakes that were easily fixed. So all just little stuff because I've never really done it before. And I'm also, it should work, but I'm also, obviously, it's being steered by a steering wheel from the kid that's going to drive it. But I also
Hmm.
want to be able to pull it behind me like a wagon, and I want to be able to steer it with the handle of the wagon.
Hmm.
So it's going to have two sets of linkages. It's probably looks kind of funny now because the front linkage isn't there, but there's a whole separate mechanism that's going to be up front that's going to be attached to the handle that I pull it with and all that.
Hmm.
But so far, so good. Everything it's pretty smooth. I'm just hoping that it's all tacked together right now. I'm hoping when I finish weld it, it's not gonna pull everything and warp everything and bind anything up. There's a
Yeah.
couple spots that I'm anticipating it. I'm gonna use silicon bronze. So if you want, I'll nerd out a little bit. It's that's not technically welding. I guess it'd be brazing, but the advantage there, since it's such a light, it's a kid's toy. It's not going to see much force, and the silicon braze or bronze, silicon bronze brazing should keep the warping down to as close to zero as possible. So
I was going to say, is that like a low heat type application, or how does that work?
yeah, yeah, basically you're just not melting the base metal, so it saves you a bunch of heat distortion and all that.
Mm-hmm.
So all you're doing, it's more like, I guess if you're not familiar with welding, it'd be more like soldering.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Makes sense.
You're really just heating the, you're trying to avoid melting the base metal. You're really just heating the filler metal.
Okay.
And since it's packed full of silicon, it flows real nicely into the joint, and it's kind of, it looks good too. It's this kind of bright gold color. So
Ooh.
a lot of people use it to like for like inlays on steel and stuff.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'll use that where I'm worried about this one particular spot binding and making a problem. But so far so good. I'm excited to get it. I'm in a real big hurry to get it on its own wheels and
Hmm.
have my son kind of like sit in it, if only on a piece of wood, just to
Yeah.
make sure he still fits. But
How do
so
you or
hopefully soon.
how will you incorporate the pull or the handle like into the body work?
It's going to be under. That's the other thing too, is I kind of want it to be hidden. So I'm going to be able to take the handle off, and I want all that to be hidden. So
Okay.
I think I'm gonna have like a little threaded rod, basically like a 3/8
Hmm.
rod that I'll thread the handlebar onto.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then I'll put the handle on. I'll screw the handle on when I want it, and not when I don't. Honestly, that it's going to be a wagon probably for a little while because I know how I want to do the chain drive and all that, but it's going to be relatively complicated as far as getting like I'm going to need like a tensioner, and I don't have a whole lot of experience with even bicycle chains.
Hmm.
I don't know. It's going to be the first I've ever really messed with chains and that mechanism. So for the
Yeah.
sake of just getting it done, looking good, I'm just I'm hustling just to get it to kind of wagon mode, and then
Hmm.
at this point it'll probably be kind of a winter project where I'll make it
Yeah.
pedal.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, I'm pumped. So far, so good.
Yeah, do you think you'll be doing
What's
metal
next?
shaping in the next few weeks, or how far away are you from doing that?
I'm, I keep saying that. I keep saying I'm close, I'm close, I'm close. But a few weeks maybe. Once I have the
Hmm.
chassis and like, so I've got the rear axle located where I want it. The steering is where I know now where it's all going to go. So in theory, yeah, I'm going to modify my wire form to kind of fit around all the mechanisms.
Hmm.
And then, yeah, I'll be able to start hopefully Clecoing it together using, those fancy temporary rivets.
Yeah.
And I know there's going to be, that's one reason why I'm kind of in a hurry is I know, I'd say the panels are pretty well roughed in, but
Hmm.
there's going to be a lot of work there too. There's still plenty of shaping to do that I'm a little bit worried about.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
What do you,
I'm in a hurry to
I
get
guess maybe
there
we
and
could,
start solving those problems.
yeah, maybe we could save it for another episode, but I'm interested in like how do you pace yourself when you're starting to shape in terms of like, yeah, it seems like you could get into a place where you rush yourself because you're like, oh, I have 45 minutes left before I have to go do something. When I, I- I'm interested in that process, and maybe it's a longer answer, but I don't know, I'd be
Yeah, I've
interested to
got,
talk about.
yeah, it's a long answer. The short answer for this conversation is it happens all the time. There is no way. I can't tell you how many times I've gone out and like I'm gonna knock this out. I've spent weeks on this panel. I'm just gonna go out and do this one little thing. I get out there and trash it, ruin the whole thing
Hmm.
because I rushed or something like that, or I misunderstood what the problem was or something like that.
Yeah, yeah.
It happens all the time, and man, yeah, it's an exercise in patience for sure.
That gotcha, gotcha. Yeah, we'll have to dedicate an episode once you get into the actual shaping because I'm definitely interested in that, and I'm sure we probably could steer a little bit more towards the metal shaping custom side for a topic.
Yeah, there'll be, and the whole point of this was to do. Obviously, I built the one car, and it was the very first shaping project I've done. And this one, I'm trying to do stuff that I've never done before. Obviously, I'm building the chassis from scratch, but I want to do a cool other little things too. Like I want louvers on it, and I'm
Hmm.
gonna have to do. I don't have a louver press. I'm gonna have to do that by hand. So figuring out how to do that and some of those things. So there'll be plenty to talk about as I get into it, and plenty of
Yeah.
opportunities for me to screw something up that I really, really hope again have the patience to not rush into it.
Yeah, yeah.
But
Cool, man. That sounds
we'll
fun.
see. Where are you? Why are you in your living room?
Yeah, the garage is full of our stuff. We're within a week of moving. Uh, yeah, it's I love it. This is the greatest. It's the best part of the military. Moving every couple years. And I say that very tongue in
Sarcasm?
cheek. Yes, big time. No, so I'm in my call it man cave. I'm sitting on my sim rig. So this is a 79 Camaro seat that I've got bolted to a wood frame and my sim wheel. No, I guess from a car update, the car's in the driveway, which sucks because everything else is in the garage, but that is what it is. We had the autocross event last weekend, and man, I'm so happy I went to that and didn't end on that sour note of, you know, having a break or a
Yeah.
mechanical. Uh, it ran so good. It's kind of funny. The dude that won my class was in an OBS like Chevy Silverado 1500. Uh, a monster. He was getting
Really?
ready. Yeah, he was getting ready for LS Fest. He was on like 315 squared. Uh,
Mm.
just really good. Granted, I think I was a second and a half behind him. So like, not there wasn't that much daylight between me and the other guy. But the Mustang that I was racing, we were going back and forth like tenths. He would beat me by a couple tenths, I'd beat him by a couple tenths. Uh, and I had him going into my fifth run. He went out and beat me by 6 tenths. I'm like, you SOB. Like,
Oh,
yeah, but that was fun.
what Mustang was it?
It was a 2000 Mustang. So the
Okay.
SM95. He had just bought it, and so he's kind of working out some kinks and stuff. But uh, yeah, the CAMT class is it's pretty wide. There's so much modification you can do. Um, there's like no rules against LS swaps. There's no horsepower rules. So like theoretically, I don't know. It's really tough to compete if you don't have a deep pocketbook. Uh, there are a lot of guys that can like compete because they're really, really talented. But
Mhm.
your lack of talent and lack of like chassis car are very much on display
Yeah.
if you're fighting with somebody that's got both. But it was fun, man. Like, and it was cool. And historically, they do basically like you run 3 runs, you work, you break for lunch, and then you run 3 runs and you work, and then that's it. But we had like 95 cars there, and so they did all the
Oh
runs at
wow.
one. Yeah, so they had 3 run groups, and so they binned everybody in to like you run all your runs at the same time, which I wasn't sure how I was going to feel
Mhm.
about that, but it was actually really cool because you got a break. Like you worked one, you you didn't do anything for one, and then you ran one. And so there was like an hour and a half where I just got to hang out with friends and catch up and talk and watch other cars do their runs. And so that
Yeah.
was pretty cool.
Is it so competitive? Do you ever get a chance to ride along with somebody like the guy who was leading your class, or is it kind of like you're a competitor and we're not going to talk?
No, you definitely can hop in other people's cars, no problem. I don't do that as much just because I it happens so fast, like between finishing your run and then getting back into it that I should. That's how you
Yeah.
get faster because it's more looks at the course. Um, Especially like sitting
Hmm.
passenger seat, you have, your bandwidth is like wide open. You can really take it
Yeah.
in. Um, but what you want to do is like if you're here, you want to pick a car that's like on the opposite end of the run group so that you can go do the run, come
You don't
back,
have to
have
jump
time.
out and jump into your
Yeah.
car and then,
Yeah,
yeah.
get your cameras all turned on and stuff and all that
Yeah.
stuff. So no, it's so friendly. Like that's the thing is, there's no issue with asking for rides and doing all that stuff. So um but yeah,
That's good to hear.
my friend got a couple of those videos outside the car, which I thought was pretty cool to see. One thing I guess to end
Yeah.
on for the update. So some of the guys that were working the corners were telling me that I was locking up the rear brakes going into hard braking zones. Um, but you would think you would lock up your fronts first. So it just shows like I need new brakes. Like something's going on with the stock master
Yeah.
cylinder or the stock proportioning valve and the drum brakes.
Sure.
They're not what it was causing
You have
was
drums on the back?
that, yeah, yeah. Yeah. So
I thought you still, I guess I assumed you had discs. At this point, you had discs all the way around.
no, no. So it was causing overly induced or oversteer, like artificial oversteer,
Yeah.
because it was locking the wheels
Yeah.
up. So,
Yeah.
dude,
Not power on. Yeah.
between that and there's one other thing I was going to upgrade. I'm drawing a blank on it. Oh, the rear differential, the clutches are starting to. I mean, it's tired because we did a bunch of burnouts from like high school to now. Uh, and so like it's
Yeah.
a open diff turning right and it's posi left. So whatever's happening inside the clutch packs turning right are all burnt up. So on the off season, the plan is brakes and true track differential. Um, and honestly, man, like those two upgrades are going to change the turn in, change the handling in a really, really positive
So
way.
then are you going to discs then in the back?
Yeah, yeah. So I haven't decided if I'm going to splurge a little more and do like a Willwood or a, you know, uh, bare brake type setup. But for like
Hmm.
500 bucks, 400 or 500 bucks, the oh my God, what is the name? Uh, the Right Stuff. Have you ever heard of that brand? They do a lot of like disc
Uh, it
conversions.
rings.
Yeah, it's
Okay,
nothing,
yeah.
not a lot of like crazy performance parts, but it at least provides the brackets and everything. And so you can like, get the calipers and get the rotors and all that, and then upgrade the pads. And, it's for what I'm doing, it'd be perfect. So I don't necessarily need to spend a shit ton of money on the rears. Um,
Yeah, I mean, I don't know that you need to go super high dollar when you're you're going to be in another universe going from drums to discs, no matter what brand you're in.
yeah, yeah. So that's the plan over the winter, and then the differential. So, but that's
Yeah,
kind of
I'm
where I'm
interested
at.
to hear what the differential is. To me, there's a direct line of sight between the differential and some of that. It'll be interesting to hear with a differential that's in tip-top shape, how that helps you.
Yeah, I want to know how it's going to help rotate the car in. One, not being able to have like turn in with oversteer that's induced by rear lockup. So that'll be something to try to figure out. And then, uh, yeah, I couldn't even tell you what a functioning differential should feel like, knowing that, I've had basically this wore out stock differential the entire time.
Right, yeah.
So we'll see.
One way to find
Yeah. The plan is to do all this on the off season. I'm not going to be able to go to any more events this year. I've got work trips lined up basically as soon as I get to my new job. So, which is fine.
Right.
Kind of get set up in my new location and focus
Yeah,
attention
that
elsewhere.
that takes a minute.
It
It's
does, yeah.
hard. It's hard to like if you're anything like me, you know deep down it's the right thing to do to get the garage set up before you start tearing something apart. But it's really hard to like see your hot rod or car sitting there and being like, I'm gonna put up some lights. Like,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
but
Well,
it's worth it though. I mean, try as
yeah.
hard as you can, or there's a compromise. I'm still not
Yeah.
done with some of the infrastructure here, but
And it's more, it's more than the garage too. It's like getting the house set up and getting us in a rhythm and all that stuff. So, there's fortunately there's only two additional events that I'd be missing. I think it's September and October. Uh, so it's not that big of a deal, and just go right into the fall and winter and do all the upgrades. But
yeah.
yeah. Otherwise, man, that's the car's running great. It does have a oversteering or a power steering pump that's I think it's overheating because it's pushing fluid out the cap.
Oh, really?
Um, so I just got to sort that out too, but it's fine. I drove back on the trailer. That's what matters is it didn't break. Yeah,
Well,
man.
I'm glad you
Well,
glad you ended on a high note.
yeah, me too. Me too. It was awesome. So, but yeah, transitioning into this topic we want to talk about, I think wear my IROC hat just because I think it's a perfect I guess, visualization of what we're going to talk about today. And when we're recording this weekend, I don't know if you're tracking, but the IROC series and um, they're the historic sports car racing HSR. They're out at Laguna Seca this
Mhm.
weekend, and they're doing a bunch of live streams of all the
Nice.
races. So I watched a little bit of that
Yeah,
today. But yeah, so I think the topic
nice.
we're going to talk about today is focused really on call it the big three battle. Well, I hope that it's going to be a big three battle. Right now, it's the big two battle of who can build
Yeah,
the the baddest supercar killer between Ford and Chevy. And I think over the past 2 to 3 weeks, we saw, record-breaking Nürburgring numbers by Mustang, and then quickly beat by the Corvettes. It was in the sixes,
yeah.
right? six or was it a sub six time that the Corvette put on? I can't remember. I should have looked this up. But
Yeah.
so what are your thoughts initially on the two manufacturers kind of taking their Halo car and bringing them from a, everyday anybody can afford a Mustang and a Corvette, you know, relatively
Kind of.
speaking, to now we're in the three to $400,000 range.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm still pumped about it, even though it's not like I'll never be able to go out and buy one. I don't think, but I still think you asked me earlier, like, do you think we're in a golden era? And I think, yeah, I think because I mean, anytime you're breaking records like that, I think you're there, and having the rivalry is just like it's going to fuel the fire. Like I'm waiting, like you said, it's big two. Where's the third? I'm hoping they're like lying in the shadows.
Yeah.
They're not. And if you think about Dodge in particular, they have an over the top approach to everything. Granted, maybe this is a little bit off topic for them. I don't know how since Viper and all that. I don't know how much of time they've spent on the Nürburgring, but yeah, I'm pumped. I think I love to see them go head to head. It's interesting. I'm amused that it's Mustang and Corvette now when uh, you would think, you always paired Mustang with Camaro. So I
Hmm.
think I don't have any brand loyalty, but I'm super pumped to see the Mustang, you know, taking the heat to kind of the upper echelons of sports car world.
Yeah, I agree. And I I don't know if for a while it's like, the C8, it doesn't necessarily do it for me, but it doesn't not do it for me. Like I think it looks cool. And I was
Yeah,
I was I was willing to kind of just say, okay, that's fine. That's how I feel about it. And then the new Mustang comes out and I'm like, dude, could you imagine if Corvette came out with a front engine and they were putting up these battles? I think
yeah,
I understand why Corvette had to do it, going to the mid-engine design. They're competing with Ferrari and all that. But man, to have a front
yeah, but
engine sled be on par with a mid-engine
yeah, I just
Corvette, like
I was still disappointed though. I mean, what was it the C6 or the C7 in Le Mans racing that was basically untouchable, that almost never lost?
I know the C7s were doing
I can't.
incredible. That was the GTLM days.
It could have been both. It could have been both of them. Yeah. And then
Hmm.
so I will say this. I appreciate the new Corvette, but I was definitely one of those that was extremely disappointed to see it go to mid-engine.
Hmm.
Again, I know why, but you just came off of two generations of domination with I know it's technically probably a mid-engine, but engine in front of the driver configuration.
Yeah.
Like why? Yeah, just like Porsche never abandoned the rear engine, like you could, yeah.
Yeah.
I just feel like fast forward to a couple generations of Corvettes from now, and had they stuck with the front engine platform,
Hmm.
I feel like they would have been proud of it. Not that they're not proud of the Corvette, but I think just moving the engine behind the driver doesn't automatically put you in competition with Ferrari. Like if you're going for those sales, like
Hmm.
that's not enough to do it.
Yeah, yeah, I agree with that. And it would have been interesting if the generations would have lined up where, because I mean, the C7 domination, they were also challenged by the Ford GTs, the new Ford
Mhm.
GTs during that era. And so that would have been kind of cool to see, you know, a C8 and a Ford GT battle it out during that time period. But now it's kind of flipped. Now you got, the C8's mid-engine car battling against the Ford Mustangs that are. I've been watching a lot of IMSA this year, man. The Ford Mustang on all levels,
Dude,
from like GTP down to the straight up, entry level IMSA pro racing.
Yeah,
They're dude, they got something going on. It's nice.
yeah, 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 yeah. Like I said, I'm not like a blue oval. I don't have any brand loyalty, but I'm having a lot of fun watching this all play out.
Yeah, same. And I mean, I'm a Chevy guy. If you look at my history, statistically, I'm a Chevy guy, but I just
Historically,
they're killing me with, it's like every time I open Instagram, it seems like there's a new Mustang variant to look at. Like they just unleashed I think it's the Snake R that just came out, the wide body. Have you seen that? It's the
maybe the one that just caught my attention. I don't know. Maybe I'm a little late to the game. Was like was there an all carbon one? Like they called it liquid carbon.
Yeah, yeah. So that one just came out, but this one was it's the Shelby. It's called like the Snake S or Snake
Oh,
R. But it's got this sick wide body kit that I mean it's got fucking huge hips. It's so sweet. Uh, and again,
yeah.
it's
Uh,
crazy numbers in terms of price, so it's like way out of anybody's league, but I'm here for it.
yeah. I think I like the way they look too, and it's it seems maybe it's a coincidence, maybe it's not, but as far as like the Camaro goes, are they? Am I right in saying are they stopped making those at least for now?
Yeah, and it hit the news like last week, maybe over the past 2 weeks that they're rebranding the Camaro into basically a Mach-E killer or a Mach to compete with the Ford Mustang Mach-E. So it's another crossover
Big
SUV.
big mistake.
Huge mistake.
Big
I
mistake.
mean, so I haven't
Come on.
heard anything. Haven't heard anything about them reviving the actual coupe, you know, as a Camaro production car,
Yeah.
which
I so what I was gonna say was it seems maybe it's a coincidence, maybe it's an unfortunate coincidence, or maybe it's Ford being very clever. Is that not only is the same platform, that historically the equivalent of the Mustang isn't even available to purchase anymore.
yeah,
Now they're they're breathing down the neck of their flagship sports car.
yeah. I mean,
I don't know. That's just again, I love Chevrolet for everything they've got, but right now they've got some explaining to do.
they do, and I mean, if if Stellantis comes out or Dodge, whatever you want to call them, if they come out with a Viper and Chevy doesn't have anything to, or maybe they're okay, maybe they're comfortable with saying, nope, Corvettes are that's who we're gonna put up to compete.
Yeah, we don't want to
Uh,
fight.
yeah, but I mean, come on, like we we gotta have.
Dude, a Viper of any kind is on my short list of dream cars. Any kind. I don't even care.
Yeah,
Any kind.
I still have from when I was a little kid. This is my first diecast model
Nice.
car.
All right. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a 90 something, 94. It's like first generation, I think. So, yeah, they're just so cool. And they got cooler as they aged. Like mid
Yeah.
2000s, late 2000s, teens. God, that last era of Viper was
That's why
sweet.
that's why I say I don't even care what kind. Any year. It doesn't even matter to me. Like there's no way if a Viper is in a parking lot that I'm not gonna stop and look at it.
Yeah.
Any year. You name it. Like
Hmm.
there might be some that I might be more excited to see than others, but I'm gonna stop and look at it.
Yeah. I mean, I could probably count on two hands or less, like the number of times I've seen a Viper in public. They're just, I don't know,
Mhm.
they're not a common car to to actually see. Um, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, you brought it up, you know, how much engineering and driving has Dodge done at Nürburgring? Probably not a lot, just based on the past 20 years of them focusing on straight line
By by
technology.
comparison,
Yeah. But it would be pretty cool if they, somehow kept it under wraps and then all of a sudden, coming to your nearest dealership in 2025 or
Oh
6.
my God.
That would be sweet. But yeah, and then that
Yeah.
kind of brings us to the next part of the topic, and that's, we kind of were talking about it, but to have, essentially like the golden age if Viper comes back, like could you imagine a track day or a pro-am type event where you have nothing but GTDs, C8, whatever variants, crazy variants that are out there, and then a new Viper, and like that was the race. Could you imagine that? That would
Yeah.
be
Just the three of them
sweet.
duking it out.
Yeah. So, yeah,
I'd
I don't
still
know.
like to see, and this may very likely happen, uh, and I'm gonna look like a fool if it actually already exists, but a spec series with the GTD, the new Ford GTD race car. So a whole field of equally prepared GTD
So,
of the Mustangs.
I I don't think they have GTDs that are spec'd out, but they do have there's an IMSA class of just their spec
Just
Mustang.
Mustang.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
But yeah, GTDs, if that was
but I
just,
can't wait for that. I mean, so then it's going to happen in a couple of years, I bet.
yeah. Well, did you watch the Jay Leno's Garage when Jim Farley brought the GTD to Jay?
No, I've only seen snippets that have gotten made it to
Okay.
Instagram or something like that. But
Yeah, so I watched it and Jim Farley kept saying, this car is faster than the GTD race car because they weren't
right,
handcuffed, to all the series
yeah,
restrictions and rules and
yeah.
stuff. So could you imagine if it was like GTD production spec?
Oh, let the private teams do it because they'll
Yeah,
start with what they call muddy and white, street car.
yeah, yeah. And then just like put seconds on the IMSA GTD car.
Yeah.
But
Well, that's what I think they had said the same thing about the, Corvette. So, and I'll admit, I was in the IMSA years previously, I was a Corvette fanboy with the C7s and the C6s.
me too.
And I remember seeing that too, the same spec. Like, look, these are I think at the time, the Corvette, the IMSA car had like a 5.5 liter V8
Hmm.
because of the whatever displacement rules and all that. Sure, it might have revved to dang near 10,000 RPM, but uh, the street car, of course, had everybody knows the 7 liter and all that.
Hmm.
So
Yeah,
they're like, yeah, you could buy a street car, just makes gobs more power than the race car, but
yeah, yeah. So it seems like, maybe it's because I am shining my own light on road racing in America. Because I grew up a stock car guy, man. I watched NASCAR my entire life, drag racing and NASCAR. Turner Wright wasn't my gig. I didn't enjoy any of that. And over the past couple of years, like I am. Like I am obsessed with road racing. So I gotta maybe temper what I'm about to say to maybe it's just because I'm starting to focus on road racing, but it just seems like
yeah,
there's more interest in road racing uh in America than there was 10 years ago, 15 years ago. And I say that kind of using NASCAR as a the example that, we're seeing, I counted, I think there are 5 or 6 road courses on the schedule of a stock car oval series. And it might be
yeah,
6 or 7. And so like my question is like, why? And then two, should we, even though we can, like, should NASCAR be doing this? Did they build too much of an IMSA car, which I think is what Dale Jr. called it this week on his podcast?
yeah.
So I'm curious your thoughts on that.
I do have a hot take on that. The So unlike you, I've been a casual NASCAR fan, so I don't know a whole lot about it. I don't follow it all that closely, but I am aware of all the extra road races and the cars moving. I guess I saw the car starting to move closer towards an IMSA car I think that's somewhat inevitable, if nothing more than from safety and technology and all that. And
Hmm.
that, like, let's put that aside for a second. I don't think they should. I don't think they should have more road races. If you think about it, it's all that market's pretty well saturated with IMSA. I think it's really cool what IMSA is doing. It seems like it's growing. The races seem to be packed, which is amazing. But if I want to go watch road racing, I'll go watch IMSA or even
Hmm.
Trans Am. Like, how does Trans Am fall into this? Trans Am to me is literally NASCAR road racing. Like, I don't understand. It seems unfortunate that more people don't watch Trans Am because it's got all the old school stuff that NASCAR used to bring to the table with carburetors and no
Hmm.
driving aid, no ABS, no anything, and they're going left and right. So
Yeah.
it's like there's plenty of that out there. If that's what you're looking for. To me, the only time that I would watch a NASCAR race go around a road course was because it was interesting. It was like it was the fish out of water type of
Hmm.
scenario. I wanted to see something odd.
Yeah. Yeah.
My personal opinion is I think they should stay ovals because that's what makes NASCAR so special.
Yeah, I agree. And I I still am a fan of NASCAR, but it is such a, to me, it seems a bit of a money grab. They keep doing these street courses in new markets because they're trying to grow the sport. And they've kind of eroded the legacy fans, which even I don't necessarily consider myself like a legacy fan. I get you have to evolve a series to, continue to grow uh, but I think they've gone too far with the road racing. And to your point about Trans Am, it's almost like watching a previous generation NASCAR car because they're
It is.
five
Yeah.
lug, big ass, sidewall tires that,
Yeah.
flex, and they've got and
They're huge.
a bunch of the NASCAR drivers come up through the ranks. And
Yeah.
they have 1,000 horsepower. They're like 950 horsepower cars that
Yeah.
are just
Yeah.
monsters. So yeah, like I don't know, media like shine the light on that series, and but I
Here,
don't think.
here's another here's another reason I'm intrigued. Again, I should have done some more homework maybe before this episode, but when I got into road racing, it was Grand Am. So what are we talking about? Maybe 15 years ago.
Yeah.
Grand Am racing, which eventually evolved into IMSA.
Hmm.
At the time, Grand Am was owned by NASCAR.
Yeah,
Is IMSA still owned by NASCAR?
it
It
is.
is.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
That's
then
why.
why? What's going on? That's
Yeah.
even more confusing to me.
So that's why you'll see like the Spec Miatas run at Martinsville, the oval. Have you ever seen them do
Okay.
that? Uh, it's because they have that. It's I
Yeah,
think
well,
I
yeah.
think NASCAR is the parent owner of IMSA, if I recall correctly. So
Yeah.
yeah, I think I think that having it do okay at both oval and road courses gives them that option to take it to Chicago, take it to, I think they're going to Fallon, Vegas, or San Diego
Yeah.
next year. Um, I don't know. That part makes me sick when I think about like they're just doing it for the TV. They're doing it to grow
Yeah.
from a TV point of
The
view.
yeah, and I mean, and I guess, we're not NASCAR businessmen, so they could
Yeah.
be fighting for their lives right now and just doing what they got to do and we not know it. I don't. So if it means this or NASCAR goes away forever, then I'd change my tune a little bit, but I still hope they can figure out how to, and I guess if anything, maybe call me a Dale Jr. fanboy, but I tend to agree with almost everything he says. Like,
Yeah.
ovals are interesting. Like, I watch sprint cars. Those are
Yeah.
ovals on
Yeah.
dirt. Like, I like oval racing. Somehow there's something about NASCAR that hasn't grabbed my attention. And I think I agree with Vale, like short courses, I want to see tight action packed like oval and pack racing is just so. there's nothing like it in the world. Like it's an
Hmm.
American thing.
Yeah.
You got to just somehow tap into it. What made it so fun to watch back in the day? I think it was a lot of the. This is me just totally kind of shooting from the hip, but it
Hmm.
had to be that. It had to be the short courses and the cars were kind of crude and a little bit behind the times, and
Yeah, well, and
it was just it seemed and looked dangerous.
they had a lot of lack of parity back in the day, and I say back in the day, like even 15 years ago, 20 years ago, where, you'll have a tire that falls off and you'll have a team that is under engineered, and a team that's over
Hmm.
engineered and really fast. And so the battle of like driver trying to keep the tire on it, the engineers trying to make sure that it's set up correctly, the sheet metal guys. I mean, I watched a documentary where, Ray Evernham was talking about the just the art of metal shaping, and how that changed
Hmm.
the ability for the car to do what it needed to do. Um, and
Yeah.
so that all that's gone. The parity is, I mean, they're the same car. Like the 38th place car versus the leader is, only like sometimes a second and a half off in terms of pace. Like you
Yeah.
can't pass. Like that to me, like that's where things need to change. And so
I'm
like
worried. Yeah. I'm worried they're falling into the same trap that Formula One is. And I know it's hard to compare because Formula One's probably extremely popular outside of the United States, but in my opinion, I struggle to watch it because it's just not interesting. It's
Mhm.
just I appreciate it. I appreciate the spectacle and the technology, but the entertainment value somehow just doesn't come through with all of that. And I
Yeah.
feel like NASCAR almost, I mean, they're knocking on that door, I feel like.
Yeah, so I'm drinking out of my Richmond Raceway koozie because that's where they're at tomorrow. They're doing the Richmond night race. And so it'll be interesting to see if they can put together a race that's entertaining at a short track, whether or not it becomes a snooze fest
Yeah.
where they're, side or lined up single file and nobody can pass.
Yeah.
Uh, and
Yeah.
to bring it back to road racing, if they have a shitty product on an oval, you know, it makes kind of some sense why it's
Yeah.
like, well,
So why are you going to do that? There's so much competition on road courses. Like I said, between you've got IMSA's got its own. I mean, how you go to an IMSA weekend and you've got race after race after race after race. You name it. You want to see it go left and right, it's there. There's
mhm,
spec series, there's a spec race, there's multi-class racing and all that. Then you've got Trans Am. There's all of that. Like to me, that market is so flushed with if you
yeah,
want to try and grab a watcher's attention, you're competing with IMSA and all that. And like you said, you've never you're behind. Like IMSA has been doing it, and I know they're probably all the same at the upper echelon since they're
mhm,
owned by NASCAR, but you're just it's like you're gonna what do you make it all the same and then you're gonna water
yeah.
everything down. I don't it just
Well,
like why would you jump into a pool that's already packed with swimmers when you have this pool here? You're literally you invented this. You're the only one in the world that does this.
mhm.
You gotta why not capitalize on that?
Well, and then even think about like the pro-am stuff where everything is basically free on YouTube. So like Grid Life, they're at Lime Rock this weekend, and you can watch the
Yeah,
stream online, and the production value of that stuff is as good. I mean, maybe not as good, but on par with a pro series. And so like that's
yeah,
entertaining to me. One, my cousin's racing at Lime Rock this weekend, which is kind of cool. Um, and so like
yeah.
watching that on YouTube, it's like, yep, I got my road racing fix. I want to go watch NASCAR for what NASCAR should be. That's going left.
I don't think this is the first time I've been down that road, though. No pun intended.
Yeah. So
I mean,
interesting.
people were complaining about car of tomorrow and all of that.
Yeah, yeah. So we'll see if it's on par with Car of Tomorrow or if it's if they can bring themselves out of this hole. But I guess maybe to end, like I mentioned briefly, we're seeing the kind of revival of the IROC series with Ray Evernham getting all the cars together.
Mhm.
Have you been following any of that stuff on his social media?
I haven't. I'm behind. So I was. So here's my story with that, I guess, real quickly.
Yeah.
I was following it very closely with SRX stuff when all that stuff
Hmm.
started to unfold. I was pumped about that. And then I can't remember how it happened, but it fizzled out. I think the IROC developed in another channel somehow and
Yeah,
whatever. I don't know the details of it, but unfortunately, I haven't gotten back to it yet. I haven't seen the latest chapter of that saga.
yeah, it was kind of dirty. I don't know all the details, so I don't want to spew too much misinformation. I do know that he had to sell the organization or like shut the doors, and it happened like mid-season. So
Mhm.
there were some tracks that lost some money because there were
Yeah.
some events that got canceled. But uh, yeah, so he's been going around trying to get all these IROC owners, like car owners that have like historically correct cars. And I just heard an interview with him today, and he said they're trying to do 2 to 3 events a year, and so to be a East Coast, a Midwest, and a West Coast event where it's maybe they companion with another series or whatnot. Um, so basically, like three
Mhm.
opportunities, and I watched a couple races, like they are competing, but they're not like you have like a 2002 uh, F-body Camaro going against like a Porsche from 1973. So like it is a bit of a parade show, but it's still freaking cool to see him as a second gen owner, like seeing the Chaparral car on track and
Yeah.
like, oh, I love that stuff so much.
Yeah. To me, though, so like, I guess to draw a loose comparison there, they're like, but there's still entertainment value in that. Like,
Yeah.
that's the other thing that is interesting too. Like you said, oh, I can just turn to YouTube and watch. It's like, well, then you've got all the historic racing. People, I love that. I know a lot of people love it. Well,
Hmm.
it's like, well, yeah, you could make the argument that maybe they're not going 10 tenths there because they're, you know, driving some high value car now, some classic, but it's like, yeah, and yet here's everybody watching it, entertained and having a good old time.
Yeah.
So,
I think it's cool. I think it's I like it's motivating me. I have this sim rig that I made myself, and I'm not gonna take my camera around, but it's in a like a mid '90s, late '90s Dale Earnhardt livery, so the Intimidator black.
nice.
It's due for an
Yeah,
upgrade, and
yeah,
I think I think it's gonna be one of the IROC cars, and so it'll be subtle enough that like the true believers will they'll know what it looks like, but some people might look at it and be like, "What the hell did you do? Why why does this?"
yeah.
So anyway, so I would love it. I think it'd be sweet if they came back if there was some way to maybe it is you know a spec Mustang, maybe not a GTD, but but just
Yeah,
in that what you call it, the spirit of what IROC was, where they picked a production car and made it spec in the sense that it's all the same.
yeah.
I think that'd be pretty cool. Well, I think we solved all the problems of road racing in America. This was fun though. I
And got
enjoyed the
NASCAR back
conversation.
on track.
Yeah, yeah. We'll call the president of NASCAR and we'll tell him what's up. So, well, man, what do you got in the future over the next couple weeks?
So believe it or not, I'm gonna park the pedal car for a little bit, just long enough for me to get the bug back going again. So the only thing stopping it from driving out of here right now is the brakes have sketched me out enough that I'm not going to push my luck anymore. So what little there is left of the driving season, I've got a box full of brake lines and a new master cylinder that I'm going to try and start tomorrow morning and hopefully get it done over the weekend. So the place I work at is having an event next Friday. An event. It's Fun Car Friday. Drive your
Yeah,
fun car work on Friday. So
yeah, yeah.
trying to get it done before next Friday and then really just not touch it and just drive it for the rest of the fall.
Sweet. Yeah, put the top down and Have fun.
How about you?
We're
Yeah,
moving.
cruise. Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, just moving. That's about it. So I do have plans, but we'll save it
Don't
for
leave.
another time. But I do have road racing plans in my future, and so we'll talk about that in the future episode of the Fast and Slow podcast. So thanks everybody for tuning in, and we'll catch you later.